What's up, sir? How you doing? Yeah, dude, making this video for you because, dude, it's it's a problem that everybody deals with, and social media really hasn't made the. It's just exacerbated the problem to an unbelievable degree. Just the constant feeling of inadequacy, constantly feeling like you're not doing enough, that you're not measuring up, that you're insufficient. Dude, like, it's just it's just a ruse. You're getting played. You're getting freaking played. Like 150,000 people die every single day. 150, can you even begin to understand how many people that is? I can't, it's inconceivable. I just throw that number out there all the time, but it's like, if you really think about it, if you really think about how many people 150,000 is, it's just inconceivable. And I don't know any of their names. I don't know any of their faces. And dude, like, think about all their dreams. Think about how many of them were like, must have been gorgeous, must have been like supermodel tier. Or how many of them were like insanely intelligent, like 140 IQ plus, right? Like, just from a percentage standpoint. Just from a percentage standpoint, if there is just 1 out of 100 people have like 140 IQ or more, that's 15,000. 15,000 big brain individuals just hitting the dirt. So much unrealized potential, right? But if you look at it from that way, there's just so much suffering. There's just so much loss. And it's just so heartbreaking. But, dude, that's not the point. The point isn't to justify your existence. You didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to have this experience. You didn't ask to have your parents. You didn't ask to be born when you were born, where you were born, to interact with the people that you did interact with. It's just going, man. The variables that have the greatest influence on the trajectory of your life are just completely outside of your control. And at the transactional level of reality, it's absolutely true that people are insufficient within the context of the metric, right? Like, if I jumped into like an NFL game where there are like 200 to 300 pound guys that are like 6'6", and they've been training for years, how can I ever expect to play on that level? I've never played a game of football in my entire life. Now, if I were to arbitrarily attach my sense of self-worth to my ability to play football, and then I would just get it, just like go into a corner and just start sulking, go like, oh wow, I'm just such a piece of shit because I can't play football at the NFL level. Like, how ridiculous would you see me? Like, how ridiculous would that be? But that's what we all do all the time. These standards that have been imposed upon us through marketing, the most amazing marketing. Just read Influence by Robert Cialdini, the levers through which people can just absolutely take over your psyche. It's insane. It's insane because we're just monkeys. We're just monkeys. These meat machines, this mind-body complex is so easy to be manipulated. And so you just have to, as Lao Tzu says, when I let go of who I am, I become who I might be, right? So it's like you gotta just disengage. You gotta resign yourself from the rat race. That's the only way to lasting happiness, because there's nothing in the external. There's absolutely nothing in the external that will give you lasting happiness. As Swami Vivekananda says, he says, we're sitting on a mountain of food and dying of hunger. We're sitting next to an ocean of nectar and dying of thirst. Everything that we're seeking is right here within us. Everything that we're desperately seeking is our own approval, is the permission to feel okay. Like, I do this exercise a lot, like, close your eyes, just imagine you have, everything is just perfect, right? You just have your ideal significant other, you're living in your dream house, you have everybody around you just loves you and can't get enough of you, is just constantly inviting you out to do things, you're in the best health of your life, like, everything is just going your way. Like, just visualizing that scenario, do you feel nice? Do you feel all warm and tingly inside? That's the power of the mind. Like, you've just given yourself permission through this mental exercise to feel that way. You have access to that at any point. However, that's not gonna fly, dude. If everyone were so internally fulfilled, how could marketers make money? how could we ever convince you that being better than the Joneses next door is a worthwhile goal to have when you're just so internally fulfilled and you're intrinsically motivated to pursue the things that you genuinely resonate with? If you're coming from that state of abundance, you can't be a leech. You can't be a little battery in the matrix, man. And so therefore, like, nobody cares about promoting your genuine well-being because it's not profitable. There's no incentive for it. There's absolutely zero incentive. So you got to just go like, screw this rat race. Screw this. I'm going to be happy now. There's only the present. It's the eternal present. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. Like, we're just so stupid. There's so many variables that we're unable to account for when accounting for the future, when making plans for the future. Like, how many people, if we looked at the 20, 30-year plans for like the USSR or the US government back in 1980, 1990, how many of them could have accounted for the ubiquitous, usage of smartphones, like internet being available everywhere, like AI just being available for free to everybody? Like, what? No way, dude. And how ridiculous would it be to not calibrate to those new variables? It'd be the stupidest thing ever. It'd be the stupidest thing ever. So you got to just dynamically adjust your life strategy as you live it. But that comes from a place of, like, the best possible state to be in is to be happy, is to be coming from a place of abundance and fulfillment. Because there's nothing in the external. Eric Fromm said, Eric Fromm, it's like, happiness in the modern age is just building up tension and releasing it. We're all just being like, oh, I'll be happy when? It's like, oh, when I graduate, I'll be happy. Or, oh, when I get the girlfriend, I'll be happy. Oh, when I lose the weight, I'll be happy. When I get the job, when I get the promotion, when I get yada yada, when I get the house, when I get the car. When will you learn? When will we learn? Never. Never. Unless we learn from the great sages, the legends. Buddha 5,000 years ago was just like, dude, it's suffering. Dukkha, baby. It's desire is suffering. You can just step away from that. Step away. Because you have access to that infinite ocean of bliss right now. It's your God-given right. It's your divine privilege. Yeah, dude. Can you just imagine, man? Like, when I was morbidly obese, just like laying down on my back and I was out of breath, I'm like, the roof of my mouth is just so scratched up because I'd eaten like 2 bags of family-sized Lay's and I still couldn't stop eating sweets, just watching anime or like scrolling on social media and just looking at all the people living what is portrayed to be such an ideal life and just thinking, damn, God, I should just kill myself. Like, how come I'm such a worthless piece of shit that I can't experience that? Dude, like, when people would go in for a hug, I would literally just extend my arm out as far as I could because I genuinely believed that people were trying to hug me out of obligation, right? I just saw myself as such a disgusting piece of shit. I didn't want to inconvenience people with my presence. I genuinely thought that, like, just my existence was such a nuisance, man. Such a nuisance. Yeah. It's just, the mind is so good. The parasites in the mind, when they take hold and take over, it's like a cancer. And, yeah, dude, everybody's going through it. Well, not everybody, but like 99% of people. And the solution is to just recognize that you're not your body. You're not your mind. Like, every single molecule that comprised your body 7 years ago has been cycled out. Like, think about the things you were worrying about 7 years ago, dude. I mean, like, maybe some of them are still relevant, but most of them are not, right? It's just constantly going. But you still consider yourself to be that person, right? You still say, oh yeah, when I was 15, when I was 7 years old. Why are you saying I? It's not, that body and mind was not you, right? It's like, I had a dream, or I slept like a log. So who is that I? What is that witnessing I? That I cognition that you have? You are not your body, you are not your mind. There's nothing in the external that can fulfill you. It's just hedonic adaptation. Like, once you achieve the thing you want, once you graduate, you're gonna celebrate, it's gonna feel amazing, and then right back to the next thing. Or like, let's just say you get like a battery, like you accomplish a battery of things that you had been pining after for a very long time, right? Then about like 3 to 6 months later, you're just gonna acclimatize to the new baseline, man. The ego will never be satisfied. It just wants more and more and more and more. And like, the solution is to just resign yourself. And you got to learn from the greatest spiritual teachers, like Ashtavakra in the Ashtavakra Gita. One of the sacred Hindu texts is just like, let this body live 100 more years. Let it go tomorrow. It's all the same to me. Just happy as can be. Enlightened people are so happy. And there was a guy named Ibn Taymiyyah, and he was in the Middle East when like the Mongols were like raiding, I believe it was Saudi Arabia, and he just straight up was just like, yeah, if you imprison me, I'll convert the prison into my mosque, right? If you torture me, I'll use the pain to remember God, and if you kill me, I'll become a martyr to my people. You can do nothing to me. Like, that's just the most badass shit ever, dude. Like, they're so mic drop legendary because they have utter disregard for this body. They know better. They know that they're not this thing. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most people operate under the assumption that like consciousness is just something generated by the brain. It's an epiphenomenon. When in fact it's the opposite, dude. It's the opposite. Like the billions of neurons and the trillions of synapses that get engaged when you open your eyes. Like, when you open your eyes, like, it's so intuitive to assume that you're just getting a snapshot of reality, right? But in reality, you're actually constructing reality on the fly. Much like how when you're playing a video game, everything behind you, your field of vision as you're piloting the character is garbage collected, and it's only when you pivot that you can render it again. It's the exact same thing here, right now. It's the exact same thing. Like, local realism has been proven false. 2022 Nobel Prize. Literally. But there's going to be a huge delay. There's going to be, like Galileo discovered that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe, right? And that we were orbiting the sun. And then they just, I don't know what happened to it. They just, I believe they ostracized him or killed him. I don't really remember. And then like 200 years later, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. We orbit the sun, for sure. Yeah, dude. So it's like, don't look to others. Other people don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, dude. Except you. Like, I love you so much. I love you so very much, but as Jim Rohn said it best, it's like, I'll take care of me for you if you'll take care of you for me, right? Like, I'm a monkey, man. What can I do? There's nothing I can do. All the 150,000 people dying every day, 1,300 kids dying to malaria. Like, I wish I could save them. I wish I could just finger snap and go like, dude, it's all good now. It's all good. It's like, no, I can't. I'm just a monkey. So, yeah, dude, it's a decision. It's like, I'm gonna be happy now. And absolutely, at the transactional level of reality, there are people who are better and there are people who are inferior in the context of a certain metric, right? It's like, I've never genuinely wanted to have, an intimate dynamic with a lady that has Down syndrome, right? That's just, like, why? Why is that? Because not arbitrarily, but it's just viscerally, my body has rendered or perceived people with Down syndrome to have very low reproductive viability, right? Like, if I were to reproduce with that person, like, my children probably wouldn't fare too well. So it's like, within that, and that is messed up. Like, they didn't ask to get Down syndrome. Like, how is that fair? It's not fair. Life has never been fair. Never. But you can just decide to be happy now. It's just raising your middle finger at the world and being like, no, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to be happy now. I liken it to, like, using the Down syndrome example again. It's like, imagine you're a single mother. Imagine you're a single mother and, yeah, like, your husband has just left because he couldn't deal with the fact that you have a Down syndrome child. and everybody in your community ostracizes you, right? Like your family disowns you, and everybody you thought was your friend just wants nothing to do with you because they think that the child is revolting and disgusting. And it's like, dude, like the mother just has to say, fuck you guys. This is my child. This is my baby. I don't care if all of you guys become my enemy. I am going to take care of my child. And it's like, that's the exact attitude you need to have towards yourself. It's like, I don't care if every single person on the planet rejects me. I will love myself. And in reality, that's the only way. Only then will you find your people. Yeah, dude, it's amazing. It's like during times of duress, it's actually the greatest blessing. It may not feel like it in the moment, but the wheat, you get to separate the wheat from the chaff. You get to see who's a ride or die and who's just, riding along because they spotted like a transactional opportunity, right? They were just opportunistic individuals just seeing how things play out. It's like nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Shakespeare. It's really just the opinions of other people, man. And in reality, nobody cares. And it's not that nobody cares, because people do care. It's that they can't care. They can't care. They just can't. It's just physiologically impossible for them to give a crap about everybody. No. Dude, I have to poop, I have to pee, I have to eat, I have to, say I love you to my family and my friends. I have to work out, it's so many things to do. Yeah, dude. You don't have to justify your existence. There's nothing you have to do. But from that place of like, I am enough. I have crossed the finish line. Now what? I'm not just going to remain idle. I'm not just going to do nothing. Right? Just as Swami Vivekananda says, he's like, he who renounces the world to die meditating in his Himalayan cave has lost the way. And he who plunges headlong into the luxuries and vanities of the world has also lost the way. And so the only solution is to recognize the divinity in everything and everyone. To use a RuneScape example, like I played a lot of RuneScape, right? So much RuneScape. And I remember the skill I hated training the most was rune crafting. It was like a skill where you just have to take blank stones and go to an altar, and then when you go like pray at the altar, the stones turn into the type, like not the type, whatever, like the essence of the altar, right? So if it's like a fire altar, it turns into like fire runes. And it's like, you just have to do that over and over and over again, monotonously. And the experience rates, the experience gain per hour was just abysmal. It's just the most tedious, most boring thing ever. But I remember thinking to myself, while I wanted to blow my brains out, I was just thinking, there's nothing else I'd rather do. Like, even though this activity in and of itself is actually one of the most undesirable like activities to engage in within the context of the game, there's nothing else I'd rather do. There's no other game I'd rather play. There's no one else I'd rather hang out with. I just want to do this so that I can go to the next level. So I can do this quest, or I can, put on this armor or whatever. So it's like, even when it sucks, even when like life is just really putting you through the ringer, if you can just look up at the sky and say, this is what makes life worth living, right? It's kind of like you're watching an amazing show, and then they just do like the most insane plot twist, and everything gets messed up. Like the main character just goes through like the craziest upheaval of the status quo. And then you're just like, dude, that's crazy. I never saw that coming. Let's go. And then you're more engaged than ever. You're more engaged than ever. So it's like, that's the attitude to have. That's the attitude to have, man. Because you don't get to decide. We feel like we have control, right? We feel like we have so much control, and that's like American culture. It just champions the individual. It's like, oh man, like you can make anything come true. Like, chase your dreams, and like life will find a way. And it is true. Given a long enough time horizon, it's so true. But the unfortunate reality is that life is supremely unfair. And so many people who had so much prospect, so much talent, so much going for them, they just die, man. They just die. And like, you just go to their funeral and you see their smiling face in like a black picture frame and you think, damn, if only he knew that he had 1 week left to live, would he have allowed himself to loop on utter inanity? Would he have allowed himself to care about what other people thought? Or would he have really tried to, say I love you as much as I could to the people that were in his life and make the most of what he had? Dude, it's the same thing. Today's 9,191 days. I'm 31.4% done with my life if I make it to 80. If I make it to 80, I'm 31.4% done. I'm almost 1/3 done. It's like constantly being aware that 117 billion people have died and I'm just 1 out of 8 billion. And, who knows what medicine is going to look like, decades from now, but the overwhelmingly high likelihood is that I'm just gonna die too. So, yeah, man. Life is truly amazing if you allow yourself to believe that it is. And it's like, it's environment, man. Environment. You have to listen to people that have the same outlook. Friends, like the saying used to be you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but now it's more like you're the average of the 5 content creators you consume the most. So really curate your digital and physical environment, man, because people are truly everything. People are truly everything. Like, there's so many people that I do not want to have anything to do with. And it's not because I don't love them. I love them so much. But in terms of like resonation, there's no resonation. There's absolutely zero overlap in our trajectories. And that's fine. That's where all the beauty comes from. Could you imagine if everyone were the same? That'd be so boring and disgusting. Yikes. Yikes. At the transactional level of reality, man, it's cause and effect relationships, right? And it's like you account for as many variables as you can, but you just can't account for them all because you're just one monkey. Just one monkey, man. And like, what's the fun in knowing everything and things working out exactly as you... That's not fun. That's like playing Call of Duty with like an aimbot on, right? So it's like, oh, just headshot, headshot, headshot. And then like you also have a bot that just like makes you dodge every, bullet coming in from other players. It's like, oh yeah, you have a perfect score. You got all the kills and you died 0 times. Like, good job. Good job. Was it fun? It's like, no, it's not fun. That defeats the purpose. The purpose is the experience. The experience, like the Bhagavad Gita says, like, you're not entitled to the results of your labor. You're only entitled to the process. And people say the journey is the gift. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Legends. They figured this shit out, man. They figured it all out. Just like they're just going to temples and they spend their whole lives debating this shit. And they're just like, damn, dude, like we've come to some dope conclusions. Let's write it down for posterity. And we're just like, nah, fuck that. Yeah, dude. You have crossed the finish line already. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in the external that will bring you lasting happiness. Because everything is transient. Everything is temporary. And success, like getting what you want, makes you very fragile from an ego perspective. It's like, oh, let's just say you made millions of dollars. What happens if you lose it all? You get devastated, right? Oh, you meet your dream significant other. She contracts breast cancer and she dies. Or she has like a deep vein thrombosis while giving birth. Boom, gone. Right? Like, dude, I'm supposed to see you in like a month. What if I just die in a car accident like 5 days from now, man? Very within the realm of possibility. Is it physically possible? And have the conditions been met? That's it. Those are the rules for the transactional level of reality. Is it physically possible? And have the conditions been met? Boom. As soon as the conditions are met, boom, done. So it's like, yeah, dude, life is supremely unfair. So just to be able to look at life and go like, damn, whatever happens, amor fati, just as the Stoic said, amor fati. To love whatever happens, what greater happiness is there? To just accept it. It's just acceptance. Like, I didn't ask for it to be this way, but damn, this is what makes life worth living. This is what makes life worth living. Yeah. I love you very much, sir. I love you so, so much. It's just, not many people say it. And it's only when we're lying on our fucking deathbeds that we're like, damn, I really should have told them I loved them some more. I really should have let them know that they really meant so much to me. Cause dude, man, like I was just such a train wreck, and I still am. At the transactional level of reality, compared to other people, man, like there are people who make so much ungodly sums of money. They make what I make in a year in a single day. In profit, not revenue. Like in revenue, and then after all expenses, profit. They make more than I make in an entire year in a day. It's so insane, dude. Life is so crazy. But this is what happens. That's what happens when, like, people just learn the rules of the game and they work together. So it's like, you're not competing with anybody. You're not competing with anybody because we're playing the infinite game. Within the context of a finite game, right? If I'm playing chess with you, there's an obvious winner and a loser, right? Like only one person can win, or if it's a draw, then it's a draw, right? But there's a decided upon outcome with known players. In the infinite game, the whole point is to keep the game in play. The whole point is to sustain the game. If I've seen further, it's only because I stood on the shoulders of giants. So it's like, how can I take credit for anything that I have in my life when it was all just spoon-fed to me, dude? I didn't have any single discovery. Everything I know about philosophy, about health, about investing, about fitness, about anything ever. Just a team of insanely intelligent individuals were like, you know what, dude? Like, life really sucked before we discovered this shit. Let's make it available to them for free in the most digestible format that we can muster. And I just come along like a freaking dumbass. I'm just like, oh, I'll be thinking that. Like, oh, that's nice. I'll be thinking that. So crazy. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Life is insane. All right, sir. Love you very much. Talk to you soon.